Hi guys, Dina Zafiris here, and today we're talking about the second biggest mistake people do to mess up their dog. That is, they make the mistake of not actually teaching their dog their name. You need to teach your dog what their name means. So the first thing I ask is, what does your dog's name mean? It should mean one thing and one thing only, and that is eye contact, okay? Your dog's name means, boom, to turn their head, whiplash, and look you in the eye, all right? So we're gonna talk about the steps to get that and actually teach your dog his or her name. So you're hand feeding your dog, right? You got a handful of yummy, yummy treats. Break them up into small, 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 small pieces. And you're gonna get your dog's attention. Oh, the big fly. Okay, ready, here we go. And you're gonna make sure your dog is what I call on the food. You're gonna make sure your dog is with you and following the food. When you're ready and you know that your dog wants what you have, how do you know that? Because your dog is on the lure. My dog is following this piece of food. I'm gonna stop, lift my hands to my eyes and say her name. Splitty. Yes. I can even do it again. So she's on that food. Splitty. Yes. And then I release. Break. Good girl. I'm gonna do it again. So I obviously have something she wants. She knows it's here. Splitty. Yes. Good. Splitty. Yes. Good. Break. And I release my dog again. I'm going to show you guys one more time what it looks like. I like to start from movement. So I'm walking around. I'm doing some little turns. And then she wants what I have. I'm going to stop. Splitty. Yes. Excellent. Phase 2 is about calling your dog's name from a distance, right? Or from another room. So you can try throwing a treat, right? I throw my treat. She's looking for it, right? She kind of lost where it was. Splitty! Yes, that's exactly right. Splitty does not mean to come to me. Splitty is her name, by the way. Her full name is Lickety Split. So when I say Splitty, that's her call name or her short name. It just means to look. And this is why it doesn't mean to come. Let's say your dog crosses the street and you didn't know she crossed the street. This would be a terrible thing. So you're on one side of the street, your dog has escaped and is somewhere far away from you, and there's traffic in between, and you do not want her to come back. You would say, Splitty. She goes, boom, to look at you. You'd say, stay. And now I can cross the street and go to her. Splitty simply means eye contact, okay? People use their dog's name for every single reason that is incorrect. There's a million billion mistakes here. So you never want to pair your dog's name with anything that your dog sees as negative. So if you're using your dog's name to tell him to stop doing something, you need to stop doing that, because the name becomes a punishment. The name can only mean a treat and to look into my eyes. That's the only thing that the name can mean, okay? You have to stop using your dog's name to bring them away from something fun that they're doing, okay? There's a lot of secrets about what you can do to get your dog to you when you need your dog to come to you without ruining your come command, and those are going to be in part of my tutorials about the biggest secrets to all dog training. But right now, we're simply just talking about the name, okay? So in slow motion, to get your dog to learn his or her name, I'm going to slowly bring my hands to my temples like this. My hands have a treat in it, okay? So step 1, treat in hands. Actually, I'm going to go back before that. Step 1, hungry, motivated dog. Step 2, treat in hand. Step 3, bring your hands up to your eyes and say your dog's name. Splitty! Yes! Mark with the word yes and deliver the treat. The treat comes down from your eyes into her mouth, okay? So I'm almost bringing the treat from my eyes straight down into the mouth, okay? This gets their focus up and on you. So I'm gonna work her a little bit more and call out the steps. Ready? This way. Good girl. Good. And if your dog knows some things, you can play down. Good. Break. Good. Splitty. Yes. Good. Splitty. Yes. Good girl. Get ready. Good. Orbit. So I'm combining obedience, but the magic word is Splitty. doesn't matter if she sits. It doesn't matter if she stands. It doesn't matter if she rolls over. It means to look, okay? So even though she's sitting a lot, it looks very similar to her up sit, the hand signal for sit, which is coming up with one hand. So a lot of times you will see her sitting. But basically, in a nutshell, splitty. Even if she's already looking at me. Splitty. I'm conditioning that word. Stay. Back through. Back through. Splitty. Yes. Good girl. So the bottom line is you have to stop using your dog's name for a long time, and you have to recondition the name to mean only Splitty. Yes. So it's like a jackpot. What you're doing is you're creating a conditioned emotional response. You're creating a conditioned emotional response so when that dog hears his or her name, it's like a reflex. Whip, the head whips around because it only means good things. It doesn't mean come away from something, okay? So once again, here are the rules. Step 1, hungry, motivated dog. Step 2, pocket full of yummy treats cut up very small. Step 3, make sure your dog wants what you have. And I do that by adding some luring, okay? And then I'm gonna stop with my hand low. I'm gonna bring my hand to my face. Splitty. Yes. And then I can release her. Break. Come on. Splitty, come. Good. Splitty. Yes. All right. Break. Over. Break. Over. Break. Over. Good girl. So, happy training. This is the first stage of dog training. I'm trying to do my 101 mistakes that humans make to mess up their dogs. They're all written down, but they all kind of bleed into each other. So I'm going to try to keep it really simple and just give you guys a step at a time. Please go back and watch mistake 1. This is mistake number 2. The reason your dog does not listen to you is you've poisoned their name. You've poisoned the command, which is their name. They ignore you because A, you've never trained them what their name means. You've never actually taken the time to train your dog to look into your eyes and to reinforce that behavior with a treat. If you also notice, I'm using a marker word. This is one of the other big secrets to dog training, and there's going to be a whole video tutorial about marker words, so stay tuned for that. But when your dog does finally meet your eyes, you need to tell her, yes, right? And yes is that promise of the food. And then you release your dog to go be a dog. And repeat. So the name means nothing. It has nothing to do with, well, how do I get my dog back to me? For now, what you're going to do is just go get your dog. Walk across the field, put on the leash, and go home. Don't use your dog's name to end something fun that your dog is doing. Your dog isn't trained yet. Most dogs aren't trained. That comes in the proofing phase of dog training. In the proofing phase of dog training, my dog can be way out there and I can say, Splitty, come. And she'll come running to me no matter what she was doing. But that's the final phase. That's the icing on the cake. You need to spend the time, take the time it takes. Perfect practice makes perfect, and we're going to train our dogs to look into our eyes when we say their name. Attention is everything. And their name means they must look. So, some tips here. Work in a non-distracting environment. This is a very distracting environment. We have horses, we have neighbors, we have a huge field. My horses are over here. My dog is still right here with me, wanting to work if I call her. She's cooling off. Let's bring her back over here. Oh, there's somebody coming. So watch. Splitty, come. Splitty, come. Yes, here. Good. So there's a car coming this way, and I want my dog to come to me. Good. Now, if you notice, I've got to move the camera really fast because there is a car coming, but I have my dog's attention. My dog doesn't even care who's here in the driveway, which is amazing. Hold that thought. Okay. Splitty! Woohoo! Ready? This way. This way. Yes. Good. Good girl. Ha ha. Splitty. Yes. So, remember the steps. Hungry, motivated dog. You're going to get your handful of yummy treats. You put your food at your dog's nose. You make sure they're following that treat by slowly moving the treat around. Are they following it? Yes, they are. Okay. Now that I know my dog wants what's in this hand, I can lift my hand to my eyes, say her name, Splitty. yes. And you can see her like, yes, you mean me. Because to her, her name only means good and wonderful things, right? Chin, chin, boop. Good. So remember, everything means something in dog training. That's why if you use your dog's name for everything, it'll eventually mean nothing, and your dog will stop coming when called and stop paying attention. For example, if I'm going to go for a car ride, I say, let's go car. If we're going to go swimming, I say, let's go swim. If I say, you know, we're going to go in the house, I say, inside. If we're going outside, I say, outside. I don't say, splitty, 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 splitty for everything. How do they know? Then the name becomes so unpredictable, you have no attention. You only have a dog that goes, she's calling my name. What is it this time? Nail clipping? Grooming? Going to the vet? You don't want your dog to think, well, why is she calling me this time? Okay? And they're not really thinking. They just, usually hear, Mommy wants me. I got to come away from something wonderful that I'm doing. So you've got to reverse that, right? It's like deposits in a bank account, okay? You're either putting deposits into your bank account or you're taking money out, or it's staying the same. With the dog's name, you want to be making deposits. Every time you use your dog to call them away from something fun, you're taking a withdrawal out of the bank account of training. You're actually ruining and poisoning your command. So you need to spend some time putting the deposits back in. And that actually comes from a trainer, Susan Garrett, who I respect very much. And she said, I've always seen training like that, but it's put in a nutshell to, make the analogy to a bank account. You need to be making deposits in the bank of the dog's name so that when you say their name, it doesn't matter what's on the ground. A piece of filet mignon, you say their name, boom, it means get a treat and go right back to what you were doing again. It doesn't mean it's the end of something. So, happy training. I want you guys to work on the name game. Tomorrow is going to be mistake number 3, but this course is designed to go in order. So if you're new and you're coming into this mistake, which is to not teach your dog their name, I know very few people who actually taught their dog their name. Meaning, the dog kind of knows their name has something to do with them, but when I ask people, what did you do to actually train your dog his or her name? What did you actually do? And people answer me like, oh, I just call her and she comes over. Not when I'm around trying to distract her, she won't. I'll play Frisbee, I'll get squirrels running, and let me try to see if your name game works. It won't, okay? So you have to spend some time making those deposits and teaching your dog what their name really means. The other thing is, other people will say, oh, my dog, knows his name. He knows. Well, what did you do to teach that? I didn't. I just say his name and he comes over. Well, it's not going to work in the long run. It just won't. So, the name has to mean one thing and one thing only, which is eye contact. Again, the 3 steps. Handful of yummy treats. Okay? Step 2, hungry dog. Step 3, lure the dog with your hands low. Step 4, lift your hands up to your eyes as you say your dog's name. Step 5, say the word yes and feed your dog. Step 6, release your dog to go be a dog. There is nothing that ends the good time. Okay? The name can't mean we're going inside now. When you need to bring your dog inside, you just go get them. That's it. Or turn your back. Watch how this works. I go this way. This way. I don't have to call my dog to come. Why ruin my come command? Simply changing directions is a great way to get your dog driving. We use that word to talk about a dog like running towards you, but we use